Greetings, folks. Last night I made a formal complaint to Garda Síochána and addressed it directly to the Garda Commissioner, Drew Harris, and the investigating detectives who are investigating my electoral irregularities case, regarding now my fresh and new serious allegations of judicial misconduct, obstruction of justice, corruption, electoral fraud and tampering with electoral materials. These allegations arise now following the decision of Her Honour Justice Emily Egan, who refused to make the necessary court orders I sought to preserve critical electoral evidence. Justice Emily Egan stated that it was not necessary to issue any orders of the court yesterday in the High Court. I firmly believe that this refusal obstructs the Garda investigation, prevents the proper preservation and inspection of essential electoral materials, and seriously undermines the ability of Garda Síochána to conduct a fair, transparent and independent investigation. I also wrote directly to Her Honour Justice Emily Egan and to the Clerk of the Dáil, furnishing them with a full copy of my Garda statement. At approximately 15:40 p.m. yesterday, nearly 2 hours after I posted a video on TikTok regarding this issue, I received an email from the court containing the judgment from Justice Egan dated the 19th of June 2025. That's it there. I remind all involved that when Justice Emily Egan accepted her judicial office, she swore the following oath under Bunreacht na hÉireann, the Irish Constitution. She swore an oath under our Bunreacht na hÉireann. And in this oath it states, "In the presence of Almighty God, I do solemnly and sincerely promise and declare that I will duly and faithfully, to the best of my knowledge and power, execute the office of judge without fear or favour, affection or ill will towards any man, and I will uphold the Constitution and the laws. May God direct and sustain me." This oath is not symbolic. It is the cornerstone of justice, democracy and public trust. When this oath is broken, or when actions, even by omission, undermine the administration of justice, it is not simply a legal issue. It is an attack on the democratic fabric of the state. The oath is sacred. Justice must be too. On Wednesday, in the High Court, I introduced a new supplementary grounded affidavit number 4 that I believe contained vital evidence essential to the integrity of this case. However, Judge Emily Egan refused to allow me to read this affidavit aloud in an open court in the High Court. Despite its importance, Justice Emily Egan made no reference to this affidavit in her decision. I believe now the suppression of this critical evidence further obstructs the pursuit of justice and accountability. I have now formally placed this matter into the hands of Garda Síochána. It's now up to the GardaÍ to do their duty, to act without fear or favour, and to uphold the law of this republic. This is about protecting the democracy. It's about ensuring that justice is not just seen to be done, but is genuinely and transparently done. I trust now that the GardaÍ will rise to this moment and act in the interests of the Irish people, the Constitution and democracy itself. When justice is denied, democracy is at risk. So out of public interest now, I'm going to read out my Garda statement that I made last night. I, Michelle Keane of Talbots Bridge, Knocknagoshel, Tralee, County Kerry, wish to formally lodge a complaint with Garda Síochána regarding serious concerns of judicial misconduct, obstruction of justice, corruption and suspected tampering with electoral materials relating to the High Court record number HIA 2025103, considering my application for access to electoral documents required for an active Garda investigation. On the 27th of May 2025, I submitted a fully lawfully application supported by a sworn affidavit seeking access to the marked electoral register and sealed electoral documents from the general election held on the 29th of November 2024. These documents were specifically requested by Garda Síochána to assist in their ongoing investigation, Pulse record number 24817361. On the 19th of June 2025, Her Honour Judge Emily Egan refused to make the necessary orders and stated that it was not necessary to issue any orders of the court. I believe this decision directly obstructs the Garda investigation, prevents the preservation and inspection of key electoral materials, undermines the ability of the GardaÍ to conduct a fair and transparent investigation. Further, on Wednesday, the 18th of June 2025, I submitted a supplementary grounding affidavit containing even more substantial evidence, including multiple independent witness statements, further justifying the urgent need for the evidence to be preserved and examined. Despite this, the court persisted in its refusal to grant access or preservation orders. I believe this amounts to judicial misconduct and may constitute criminal behaviour under the Criminal Justice Corruption Offences Act of 2018. Key evidence: as part of the materials I sought to preserve, I specifically requested the counterfiles from the ballot book at the Turin-Cahill polling station. I wish to formally report that I personally witnessed the presiding officer at Turin-Cahill polling station tear ballot papers from a ballot record book in front of my own eyes. A polling clerk was present and witnessed this but took no action. According to the official ballot records, there were allegedly no spoiled votes recorded at Turin-Cahill polling station, despite my direct observation of highly irregular ballot handling. This is a serious breach of electoral procedure and suggests the possibility of ballot manipulation or destruction of state election materials. It is also relevant to note that witnesses in booth 2 of the Knocknagoshel polling station have come forward regarding further electoral irregularities, including issues with the ballot book. In addition, voters who cast ballots in my favour have since discovered that their names are not present on the marked register. Fresh evidence has now emerged showing polling cards were issued to deceased individuals. Some individuals received 2 polling cards. New barriers have been raised to prevent me from accessing the zip files of the marked register. Without access to the critical evidence in this case, it is impossible for the GardaÍ to conduct a transparent and lawful investigation. Urgent call now for preservation of evidence. I am now formally urging Detective Inspector John O'Donnell, Detective Matthew O'Mahony, the Garda Commissioner Drew Harris and the Garda members handling my complaint to take immediate steps to preserve all the electoral documents from the 2025 general election as part of the ongoing live GardaÍ investigation and my legal appeal. This includes, but is not limited to, all marked register ballot papers, ballot counterfiles, zip files and sealed electoral documents from all relevant polling stations, particularly Turin-Cahill polling station, both 2 Knocknagoshel polling station, all relevant electoral documentation from the 2024 and 2025 general elections. Request for further investigations. I now formally request that Garda Síochána 1. Investigate the conduct of Judge Emily Egan for potential obstruction of justice, interference with a criminal investigation, collusion with the Irish government and their legal team, potential breaches under the Criminal Justice Corruption Act of 2018. 2. To obtain and review all DAR audio recordings, High Court transcripts and court logs for all related court proceedings. 3. To investigate the following individuals and their potential roles in obstructing the investigation or interfering with electoral evidence: the Clerk of the Dáil, Aileen Fallon, Principal Officer of the Parliamentary Services, Ronan Fox in the Bills Office, Padraig Burke, the Returning Officer for Kerry, Solicitor Aisling Fitzpatrick, Barrister Dave Fitzpatrick, Stephen Fitzpatrick, Solicitor, an elderly female of the Clerk of the Dáil's legal team who refused to provide me with her name when I requested it during the court proceedings. Investigating the presiding officer and the polling clerk present at Turin-Cahill polling station on the day of the general election on the 29th of November 2024 to ensure immediate preservation of all electoral materials and sealed envelopes. Urgent preservation request. I am now urging Detective Inspector John O'Connell, Detective Matthew O'Mahony, Garda Commissioner Drew Harris and the full investigation team to immediately intervene and preserve all the 2025 general election documents as part of a live Garda investigation and legal appeal. These include the mark register, the ballot papers, the ballot counter files, the zip files, sealed electoral envelopes, all related documentation from all polling stations with particular focus on Turin-Cahill and Knocknagoshel that they are currently in possession of the Clerk of the Dáil, and interview all witnesses referred to in my sworn affidavits and supplementary evidence. This complaint is made in the interest of public integrity, the protection of democracy and the preservation of the constitutional rights to free and fair elections. The refusal of the High Court to grant lawful orders for the GardaÍ to access evidence is in an active criminal investigation is not only extraordinary, it's alarming. I am asking for this complaint to be treated with the utmost urgency and seriousness. I am ready and willing to cooperate fully, provide all affidavits, evidence and assist the GardaÍ in any way required. This is now a matter of national importance. Signed, Michelle Keane, the 19th of June 2025. So that's my Garda investigation, my Garda statement. So folks, out of transparency and public interest, I will keep ye, the great people of Éire, fully updated on all events. And look, I, Michelle Keane, am keen on our country. And let's make Ireland and Éire great again. Gora Míle Maithagah.